My dear people of Ambazonia, my fellow brave warriors of the liberation movement of the Southern Cameroons, of the once independent state of Southern Cameroons. Accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro, this Tuesday, December 20, 2022. My people of Ambazonia, I am not going to take a lot of your time this morning because this is a very critical moment in our liberation movement. Critical because a lot of things are already happening and a lot of other things are going to be happening around us. And as usual, manipulators have already gotten into the fold, gotten into the arena, both manipulators from La République du Cameroon and the some that they have in our midst. They are already out there. You'll be hearing all kinds of audios, listening to all kinds of theories. But my people of Ambazonia, I want to call on each and every one of us to remain awake, extremely awake, remain vigilant, and stay glued to the objectives of this liberation movement. You know as well as I do that this is December and that usually during the feast period, La République du Cameroon knows that our people have a big price tag on Christmas, that we value Christmas very much. And so they always are convinced that the guard will be lowered and therefore they will multiply all kinds of approaches, all kinds of means to infiltrate the ranks and to try and wreak havoc on our people and try to wreak havoc on people they would just get suspicion that they are connected to our Bravehearts, to the self-defense volunteers. That is why during this feast period, you have to even be more vigilant. You have to raise the guard to the highest level. You have to understand that the moment is extremely critical. Critical because during the entire 6 years and counting that we have been prosecuting this liberation movement, La République du Cameroon has too often been in a bad position, but they've never been in a position as horrible as now. So they are ready and determined to do anything, I mean just anything, to bail themselves out of the difficulties that are awaiting them beginning January. This is why I've received intelligence that a lot of them, those close to them, those who supposedly are Southern Cameroonians, but who have sold their souls to the colonizer, to the occupier, will lead some of them pretentiously heading for holiday, parties in our various towns and villages in Ambazonia. A good lot of them, especially those going to the northern zone, will even dress in our traditional attire, in our grassfield traditional attire. They will do same in the southern zone, try to wear things that make them to identify with the people, and they will sneak into various places where there are parties, where there are events, and then they will go ahead to communicate freely with you, and you will have the feeling that this is one of ours or this is some of ours, but they are there on a mission. Therefore, in our various towns and villages, watch out seriously in Ambazonia. Any new faces you see that are people who are not usually there, that say they are coming for holiday, vet them. Find out who they are. Keep an eye on them. Monitor them permanently and be sure that these are not the messengers of death because there are going to be too many of them. So my people of Ambazonia, bear this in mind and know therefore that even as you prepare to feast, and this feast is one day, December 25th, because I know that New Year celebrations are not often very much a big deal in the Southern Cameroons like they are in La République du Cameroon. So for this single day that you are going out for relaxation, that you are preparing to have fun and then to get the spiritual enrichment, be vigilant. Be especially vigilant. Don't go to places you've not gone before. No. Don't drink with people you don't know. No. And especially for those of you, the self-defense volunteers, who have decided to lay your lives for the freedom of our land, this is the time you have to be the most awake, because they know that you may want to dart into the villages, into the communities to celebrate Christmas with the rest of the community. Conditions might even be created that would appear propitious and good enough that the coast is clear, like they would say in Pidgin, coast don't clear, that you could come and have fun. Don't take advantage of that. Don't even dare. Because as a matter of fact, you don't know who has already infiltrated the place. What plans are there for you? Enjoy the feast where you are. Enjoy the feasts in your hideouts. Enjoy the feasts on the hills. Enjoy the feasts in the forests. You deserve to be alive, because we have to do everything it takes to make sure that we get La République's colonial administration and army of occupation out of our territory. The only way we do it is being vigilant. The only way we do it is collaborating with one another. The only way we do it is sharing intelligence as fast as we get it to make sure that we overcome the challenges before us. You are definitely going to be getting a lot of messages coming in. Some will spin a lot of things to tell you, okay, now it is Christmas. The people have unanimously agreed that there should be a suspension of the Monday Ghost Towns for the sake of the end of year feasts. I followed an audio by some journalists on DEFCON Radio in Bamenda talking about the need for a Christmas ceasefire. Of course, any talks of a Christmas ceasefire from from DEFCON Radio, I mean, they are generally welcome. But I want to say this and insist on this very well. Take note, my people. Nothing, nothing is by any means going to touch our Monday Ghost Towns. No matter whatever measures you hear come from any direction, the Monday Ghost Towns are sacrosanct, are sacred. And the Monday Ghost Towns are our one strong weapon, the clear manifestation of civilian support for our liberation movement, the only standing symbol to anyone coming from any part of the world that our people want absolute independence, that we don't have to want to have anything to do in association with La République du Cameroon. Because for 60 years and counting, all we have known from them is butchery, is barbarism, is multifarious abuses, is the destruction of our culture, is the desecration of our palaces, is the ripping apart of our peoples from one end to the other. All we have known from La République du Cameroon within 60 years and counting has been the rape of our land, the plunder of our resources, and then in return, we've never had any form of development. In return, all we have had is torture, arbitrary arrest and imprisonment, enforced disappearances. Yes, the rape of our mothers, our daughters, our wives, sometimes right before us. Looting, the burning down of our villages. Even as I'm speaking right now, the burning spree is continuing. Of course, it happened just yesterday, Monday, December 19, in the southern zone, in Baipanya. So my people of Ambazonia, for no reason in the world should you lower the guard. For no reason in the world should you tell yourself that, okay, somebody has said ghost towns on Monday is suspended. No, no. Trust me on this. The entire leadership of our liberation movement remains committed to the fact that the ghost towns on Mondays will only be lifted when we get to Boya. Nothing shall by any means adjust this. I mean nothing. There is no measure coming from anywhere that will suspend ghost towns even for 1 month, even for two, even for just 1 week. It will not happen. Thankfully, Christmas is on Sunday. Of course, our ghost towns are naturally our Boxing Day when it comes to such circumstances. So, my people of Ambazonia, I want also to draw the attention of our Bravehearts to the effect that this is the time for you to know that La République du Cameroon is not ready to back out without a more sustained fight at any point in time. I just received information last night that the Brigadier General de Becrio in Bamenda has requested for an additional 1,000 newly trained special forces, and he expects them to be deployed between January and February of 2023. And this is between January and February of 2023. And I understand that the areas that are targeting most to send a lot of those people would be in places like in the Bafut Forest, in Momo, and in Bui counties. So if you are in any of these areas, note therefore that no matter what happens, don't let down your guard. Because all they want to do, they will take advantage of any opportunity that comes to them to try to get to positions they've never gotten to before. If you lower your guard because you tell yourself that you're enjoying Christmas, be very careful. You may end up not seeing that Christmas. Or even if you see it, you may end up not being able to see even the first 3 months of the new year. We have to be consequential. We have to pay attention to what is so dear to us. There is nothing more dear to us than the freedom of our land at this point in time. And I also suppose that we all know that Christmas celebrations will come and go, but the struggle for the liberation of our land must continue. And therefore, if we really need to shorten the time that we stay in the wilderness, then we have to do just the kind of things that would take us towards freedom land. And those kind of things are: one, being each other's keeper; two, continuing to strengthen a wonderful and cordial relationship between you, the self-defense volunteers, and our communities; continuing to come out strong against all those untoward and unwanted acts of kidnapping for ransom. I know that we have been doing a great job in stamping out this ill, in identifying those who are promoting it, and doing everything to make sure that they don't have the opportunity to do so anymore. We must continue to fight against those acts. And the people, the civilians in your areas where you operate, are your first line of defense. Therefore, relations between you and the civilians must be cordial. These are the people you are fighting to free. These are the people you came out and picked up arms to defend. Therefore, at every standpoint, these same people must see in your actions that determination to protect them from the wanton incursions of the colonial forces of La République du Cameroun. If ever you turn against the same people that you picked up arms in the first place to defend, then note that you are taking yourself out of the game. Because these people who are supposed to be your first line of defense will become the most porous link that will get to you. Therefore, our dear Bravehearts on Ground Zero, listen to me, and listen to me carefully. Continue to build a solid relationship between you and the people in the community. Continue to be in good standing with the people in the community by, one, making sure you respect their rights to life, their freedoms to do anything that they want to do in the areas where you operate. Of course, provided those freedoms do not in any way stand in the way of our liberation movement. You must respect their human rights, respect the dignity that is part of them. Protect our houses of worship so that our people who are so close to spiritual things can continue to worship their God in total peace and serenity. And ensure, my dear brothers and sisters of Ambazonia, that we are communicating with one another from one camp to the other and from one local government area to the other. Our ranks must be solid as we charge towards this new year. Like I said, the times are critical. Therefore, be very careful. Be very careful. Be crafty with your movements. Be strategic in your actions, and make sure that you avoid finding yourself at the wrong place, at the wrong time, and in the wrong company. Don't give yourself to so much drinking at this time, lest you forget to continue to keep guard. Because this is the time the enemy is determined to take advantage. They are getting ready for it. So you too, get ready for it. We have to remain strong. The state of our liberation movement is very strong. Despite all the kind of low energy audios that you may hear coming from left or from right, the state of our liberation movement is strong. One thing you need to do is shred those low energy audios once you get them. Don't pass them on. Don't forward them on, because they come straight from the pit of hell. When you hear all those aspersions being cast, all these ones are collecting huge sums of money from left and from right, and all of those things. Those are antics from La République du Cameroun always to make sure we live in permanent suspicion of one another. And because when we do, we distrust each other, we will not work together. We will continue to be seriously divided. That is the only way they hope to overcome us. La République's economy is suffering tremendously. We mustn't give them an opportunity to reign free from the trauma that is right ahead. Let us be strategic in everything we do. Whenever you hear anything, call the quarters that you know. Ask for more information. Ask for greater clarification. Don't be alarmed. Don't let emotions override you. My people of Ambazonia, I'd like to take this opportunity already to start wishing all and sundry Merry Christmas. But most importantly, this is our time of extra vigilance, and we must remain glued to the objectives of our liberation movement. To God be the glory.